Hello, marhaban, hello, bonjour, ni hao. I decided to make a video. I actually was writing a blog post and it did not publish. So I figured it would be maybe helpful to make a video instead of what I was trying to type and trying to edit and write. And I found it very interesting and very, I guess, inspiring spiritually and just essential during this time. This time in the Catholic Church is known as Advent. It's a liturgical season in preparation for Christmas, for Christ's coming, for Christ's birth. And it's a very beautiful season. It's a very enriched, important season. And yeah, it's a way to prepare and make ourselves prepared for this most beautiful and pretty much most important, highest feast day of the Church in the year is Easter, but as well as Christmas. So my blog post, my writing, I was writing about Nazareth, and Nazareth, as you probably know, it's a small village region in Galilee, which is in Israel, in the Middle East, essentially. It's a place that I would love to visit someday, would love to go there, and I would love to, just see different sites and places in the Holy Land, as it's also referred to as. I wasn't writing about my future travels there, but my writing and my thinking about Nazareth actually had to do with some scripture in the Gospels and in the Bible, and also some books kind of relating to this. So my title of this blog post or this topic was The Humility of Nazareth. So to kind of break that down, what I meant by that, or what I kind of got from different readings about, is Nazareth was, as I said, it's common knowledge perhaps that it's where Jesus was born. It's again a village in Galilee, and it was not seen as something that was expected for him, for a Messiah to be born in Nazareth. And I want to kind of debrief that more. I think it's very interesting, and again, kind of just interesting to think about during this time of Advent, this time of preparation, and just, depicting like Jesus's birth, as well as just this place that is, I would say, humble, right? It's a humble place. So I want to read to you, there's a book I'm reading. It's called Walking with Mary by Edward Shree. He's a wonderful Catholic writer, lots of books. He's really well written and also a great, well-known speaker. This is the book, and I find this book very insightful during this time. I had read it before, but I think it's great to pick up again during, the season of Advent. So I came across this excerpt in the book that does mention Nazareth, and it kind of mentions this like unforeseen place where Jesus will be born in Nazareth. So I want to read to you a little bit of what Edward Shree himself writes regarding Our Lady, Mary, but also just this place in Galilee. So he says, Nazareth was a small, secluded agricultural village in Galilee. Far from the social and religious center of the Jerusalem temple, Nazareth had only about 200 to 500 inhabitants in Mary's day and was not located along any major trade route. So it seemed kind of like far off the beaten track, and also not close to Jerusalem, which was like the main worship area of the temple. It was just kind of far out and seemed kind of like a forgotten place, I guess, in some ways, just like a small little area. He further says, moreover, the village held no significance in the Jewish tradition. There are no prophecies explicitly about Nazareth, and the Old Testament never mentions the place. So again, it's just like not really well important at all, and nothing, is really said about it. So he also says the fact that Jesus comes from Nazareth will be a mark against him later in his public ministry, for the place did not seem to have a good reputation. Okay, so this is kind of where scripture starts. So anyways, that's kind of the excerpt what I got, and I made me really think when I was reading this from Edward Shree. I'm like, wow, that's so interesting, because I didn't really think of the significance of Nazareth. Again, I've heard of it as being a small village. I've heard of Galilee. I've heard of these different places in Israel. again, I haven't been there yet, so it's also kind of hard to really envision like what it looks like or the size and everything like that, or like the significance even back then during this time period in Jesus's time period, or even before he was born. But so in scripture, it does say, and this is what Edward Shree says next, stating Nathaniel's famous line, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" John 1:46. So this is when, and I was reading in the scripture, this is when Philip, who becomes a disciple or a apostle right after Andrew, who's the first apostle, and after his brother Simon Peter followed Jesus in the beginning of John. Then Philip, goes to Nathaniel, and he tells, I can read it to you, he tells Philip tells Nathaniel about the Messiah, about Jesus, and this is what goes on, this is what he says. Okay, so let me just backtrack a little bit, because I think it's valuable. So it says, one of these two who became followers of Jesus after hearing what John had said was Andrew, like I just said, the brother of Simon Peter. His feast day actually was recently. It was November 30th. Andrew's feast day. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother and say to him, "We have found the Messiah," which means the Christ. And he took Simon to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, son of John. You are to be called Cephas." I think it's how it's pronounced in Aramaic, which means rock. Or it's Caiaphas or Cephas, I'm not sure. Caiaphas, which means rock. The next day, after Jesus had decided to leave for Galilee, he met Philip and said, "Follow me." Philip came from the same town, Bethsaida, as Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him of whom Moses and the law and the prophets wrote, Jesus, son of Joseph, from Nazareth." Nathanael said to him, "From Nazareth? Can anything good come from that place?" Philip replied, "Come and see." When Jesus saw Nathanael coming, he said of him, "There truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deception." Nathanael asked, "How do you know me?" Jesus replied, "Before Philip came to call you, I saw you under the fig tree." Nathanael answered, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus replied, "You believe that just because I said I saw you under the fig tree, you are going to see greater things than that." And then he added, "In all truth, I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending over the Son of Man." So that's another excerpt that I found really essential and important that kind of struck a chord from reading Edward Shree's book regarding Nazareth and, the image of Nathanael under the fig tree. And my blog has the phrase fig tree in it, and I find that really essential and important. Fig tree is a really well-known tree in Israel, and there's lots of different symbolism. So I love fig trees now because of that. But anyways, that's kind of one excerpt from John. There was something else that I wanted to mention that I think had to do with scripture. Yes, so this has to do with lack of faith. So in Mark, kind of backtracking a little bit in the Gospels, because there's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. John is like the last Gospel in order, and then kind of going back to Mark. This I just picked up reading in like kind of some prayer time of mine, and I found it just really beautiful to reflect upon. And again, it kind of struck a chord with this whole Nazareth theme and this whole thing regarding Jesus' birth. So I want to read to you, and it's Mark 6, verses 1 through 6. So it says, it's like a visit to Nazareth. Leaving that district, he went to his hometown, and his disciples accompanied him. With the coming of the Sabbath, he began teaching in the synagogue, and most of them were astonished when they heard him. They said, "Where did the man get all this? What is this wisdom that has been granted him, and these miracles that are worked through him? This is the carpenter, surely the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph, and Jude and Simon. His sisters too, are they not here with us?" And they would not accept him. And Jesus said to them, "A prophet is despised only in his own country, among his own relations, and in his own house." And he could work no miracle there, except that he cured a few sick people by laying his hands on them. He was amazed at their lack of faith. So I found this is a lot to kind of contemplate, but very essential. And I think Nazareth is just like one little umbrella that I kind of referred to in this. But again, it keeps coming up in different gospel readings and different excerpts and things like that. And just really related to that reading of Edward Shree's book, Walking with Mary. One little also ending, I guess, is another book I'm reading that I'm almost done with. It's nothing to do with like scriptures in the same way, or like biblical things. I mean, of course, there is some like maybe spiritual things because it's regarding a saint, Saint Elizabeth of the Trinity. She was a Carmelite. But there are some like quotes that I came across recently, and I felt like all these different topics kind of came together again, hence my blog post that wasn't really fully published. But there were some excerpts I found. This word humility comes up because I had Humility of Nazareth, the book I'm reading with this Carmelite, Saint Elizabeth of the Trinity. There was the writer herself gives her own personal kind of references. So it's about the saint, but the writer who's writing about this saint, Elizabeth of the Trinity, gives her own like kind of some personal life examples. And one of them was about humility. And I don't know, I just found it really kind of compelling. And I feel like this whole like topic kind of really molded well together. So I also share a little quote with you just to kind of end with and to maybe make it a little more, mold together well and finish well together with this whole topic and theme. So let's see. So I guess to backtrack briefly, the writer of the book, she just states that she kind of had a hard moment at a lunch. She was invited to this lunch with other moms, not actually other moms, just other women. Maybe they were moms, I don't know, but they were like all like leaders in this kind of like maybe church setting. Like they all had different like jobs and different like titles and roles. And her friend invited this the writer to this lunch, and the writer doesn't have any kind of background or field within this job community of church leaders and things like that within like maybe church ministry. So she was just invited to lunch just because, and her friend was there who was involved with it. But anyways, at the end of lunch, she just felt kind of, I guess, embarrassed or ashamed because she didn't have any role within these other women's lives with what they're doing and church related maybe functions and titles and jobs and things like that. She was just a mom, and not just, but she was a mom and a wife. And she felt like sorry for that. She's like, oh, like I don't have any like job, and I'm just, that's what I want to do, but why do I feel so like not part of this like lunch gathering with this other woman? So basically she just says, I never wanted to be anyone other than a wife and a mom. I had no ambitions to be a leader or have a position or influence. I had just wanted to have lunch. So just with these other women, she just was invited to this lunch. And yet there I was wanting to hide because I was nobody. And then she states further, by God's great grace, I allowed it to be an opportunity. I decided then and there, sitting in my Suburban, to be the best nobody I could be. I remember how St. Therese said that to pick up a pin for love could save a soul. Well, I could do that. I pick up a lot of stuff every day, I figured, and that's good. I have a lot of souls entrusted to me. So she kind of just decides, okay, I can take up this like humility type role, or just this role in my life just to do simple things with great love. I don't have to have this big title. And then I guess lastly, just to close, she says, the writer says, everything is made infinite when it is infused with love for God. So I found that really beautiful and really compelling, and just, I don't know, just a lot of these different connections kind of came up for me. So just wanted to share that with you. And I hope that was somehow insightful, and happy Advent and liturgical season and December and this busy holiday season time. And yeah, anyways, take care. Have a great day and bye. Masalama and all the other languages. See you next time. Okay.